everyone is coming in today. Our community style class. And these 30 days are all community style, where I teach modifications of kind of a middle class. It's not an easy class, but it's not a hard class. It's not beginner, but it's not advanced. It's really accessible to everyone. When I started to create a community style class, I really had visions of me being able to take a class with my mom, who was needing chair yoga. And so I wanted to be able to learn how to teach that way, where if you're in a chair, you can still move with us. If you're on the floor, you can take it up a notch if you want to, but everyone can just come here and breathe and stretch and feel better. And so let's get started on this beautiful Saturday. We have an hour to hold on, to collect our energy so that we can go out into that sunshine today. Almost 60 degrees and sunny. Please, please go outside today. Let's start off in child's pose. Come on over, come around, find a quiet place. Make sure your ringer is silenced, or even better, take your phone out of the room. Rest down into child's pose. If your knees don't want to bend like this, you can lay down flat on your belly. Child's pose is a great place to start practice because it offers this stretch and this time to go inward. And as you start to come into your practice, the first thing, start to notice how you're breathing. Slow and steady, feeling the forehead press toward the earth. Feel the body relax in as you find space in your spine, in your ribs, in your hips and shoulders. And take a few more breaths here in child's pose. Now just connecting into your heart energy. Expanding there in the center of your chest, all around. Inhaling slowly and feeling a warmth. Feel an energy coming in. And let your heart start to connect to the hearts of everyone in our virtual room. Everyone who's here, we're all breathing together. The world, space doesn't matter. We're all together right now, breathing, finding that connection. And before we come up, take a moment here and just recognize why you show up to your mat. Why are you here today? Why do you show up and breathe and move? What benefit do you see? And start to lift up to tabletop position. Blanket can be under the knees if you'd like. I didn't mention that in the beginning, but if you'd like, please have a blanket handy for comfort, for warmth. Palms press in, fingers Stretch out, eyes look down, lengthen out through the neck. Tailbone presses away from the crown of the head. And notice the belly here. Are you holding tension? Let it go. Try to let the belly fall toward the floor, even though you're holding tabletop position. Feel that release. This is always so interesting to me, that gravity pull when you let go of the tension in your gut. Exhaling slowly, feel that tension just melt. Coming into half tabletop, right arm reaches out. Feel how the weight shifted to the left hand to hold yourself steady. And now notice same thing in the right foot as the left leg reaches out. So right arm reaching forward, left leg reaching out. And just go into one circle and wrist stretch, or circle, wrist and ankle circle. There we go, those are the words. And then back to center. Shift the weight to the right palm. Left arm reaches out, right leg reaches out, and one circle in the wrist and the ankle each way. And back to tabletop. Let's do that one more time. Right hand reaches away, left leg reaches away, and now let's point and flex into the wrist and the ankle. Do it a few times. Notice how when you bring a core movement in, coming back to center, notice how that tension comes right away into the belly. Left arm reaches out, right leg reaches out. Flex and point into the wrist and the ankle. Breathe deeply into the belly. Try not to tense. And back to center. As you inhale, come to a cow stretch. Belly drops down. Press into the palms. Bend into the elbows. Look up through the face. Hold your cow pose. Exhale. Inhale. Curl and round. Find your cat stretch. Exhale. And keep your cat stretch. Move here gently side to side. Open up into the shoulder blades and the lumbar spine. Tailbone almost feeling like it's tucking under here. And back to a cow stretch. And let's move here as well. Elbows can bend, sway the weight. Stretch through the throat, the sternum. And then tabletop, plank pose, and lift the hips, downward dog. Just 2 breaths here, bend into the knees, find a little space in the hips and the spine. And bring your feet as wide as the mat. And very gently walk the hands back to a gentle ragdoll. Hands can press to the earth or hold opposite elbows. Slow, easy breathing from the belly. Feel a stillness here in your ragdoll. Stop the swaying, stop the shifting. Notice the feet pressing in. And move to a half lift. Inhale. Exhale, fold. Press down, reach up, stretch the arms. Hands to your heart. Feet press in. Find Tadasana pose, lift up into a nice tall spine. Exhale. Slow inhale. Full exhale. And hands come to your hips. Feet press in. For a strong leg here, even lift up into the toes, crown of the head reaching up toward the sky. And tuck the tailbone under and then press it back out. Feel that feeling of cat-cow stretch just in the hips. And take a few exhales and inhales here. Lumbar spine and sacrum can get very stuck in people, and this kind of movement can help to open that up. Find stillness. Bring your feet just a little wider, and let's do that again. Just tucking the tailbone under and then bringing it back out. Noticing the movement of the hips here as the top of the hips come up and forward, the bottom of the hips go down and back, and vice versa. It's the beauty of the hips as the tailbone tucks and the bottom of the hips come forward and they close a little. The top of the hips come up and forward and they open. Do that one more time, just feel that. And then press long, bring your feet back together, Tadasana pose. Reach the fingers down, find that stretch in the side of the neck. And let's open into the shoulders, same way we did into the hips, except this time just roll the palms open and closed. Try to go with a full range of motion. See how much you can curl those palms open and then wind them closed. Come back to stillness, shoulder blades come back and down. Let's have a little bit of fun with balance before we move into our sun salutations. Almost as though we're still in that balancing table. We're going to bring opposite leg and arm up as we breathe. So right arm and left leg will reach up. The left leg is going to bend. The knee will bend and the arm will stay straight. So here's our inhale. Eyes are on the ground. And exhale back to Tadasana pose. Try to get into a rhythm with your breath. Try to smooth out. My cats are now fighting in this rearranged space that they're living in. How very fun. And just moving. If you notice, my foot is wobbling because I'm laughing. My eyes are still, but I can smooth that out. This is the awareness that yoga gives us. We inhale as we come up, finding balance. And exhale as we smoothly go down and keep going. One more each side. Feel the weight shift. Know that you're really working on cultivating that steadiness. One more. Hands to your hips. Step to the top of your mat, Tadasana pose. Toes come to touch. Tailbone presses down, trying to bring those hips, the top and bottom of the hips into neutral. Lift up into the heart and the chest. There's this cue that I'll give every once in a while when you're standing as straight as you can in Tadasana pose. If you try to lengthen here from the bottom of the ribs to the top of the hips, suddenly you realize you had another half an inch of space without even trying. So toes are touching, palms pressed forward, tailbone pressing down, and just standing as tall as you can, mountain pose. Eyes forward or closed. Breathe deeply here, inhaling through the belly. Pulling that fullness into the ribs. Feel the arms move slightly away from the sides of your body, just on the strength of your inhale. Exhale slowly. Feel the shoulders soften, the back of the neck lengthen. And check your posture. This is one of those places where it's very easy to start to shift the weight or slump the shoulders. Let's take an inhale together. Exhale. Let's greet the sun here. Half salutations. Inhale, reach up, stretch up, lengthen. Exhale, fold in. Keep the knees bent as you start to open up into the body. So nice to not force anything first thing in the morning. Inhale, half lift, hands to your shins. Exhale, fold in. Press down, reach up, circle the arms. Pull your hands to your heart, let your thumbs touch the sternum. Exhale. Long spine, inhale. Exhale, fold in, try to stay nice and long in the legs, knees bend if necessary. Inhale. And exhale, fold. Listen to your breath, press through the feet, reach through the arms, stretch. Hands to your heart. One more. Exhale, fold, spine long. Can your legs stay a little straighter this time? Inhale. And exhale, fold in. Let's pause in our forward fold. Concentrate here on finding space in the back of the body. You can move gently. Find a half lift, hands to your shins. So we'll step back to downward dog. So hands will plant, knees bend, and move on back. Pedal into the feet. Hands pressing in. And gently lower knees down. I feel like perhaps for the first time in a Zoom room, I'm going to say, go ahead and look up here. Hopefully you can see me. I'm going to demonstrate downward dog in a safe shoulder manner because I was stacking my shoulders wrong in downward dog for 5 years. No lie. No lie. So I'm going to turn this way so you can see a little bit better. And as I'm here in downward dog, palms are pressing in, hips are lifting up, and I'm really dumping into my shoulders. This is not where you want to be with the shoulders. You can probably see that my neck seems like it's collapsing in toward the ears and everything's just kind of coming down. Engaging your shoulders in downward dog looks like this. The palms press in and you reach away from the ground. Everything just engaged into my whole shoulders instead of dumping in and really settling away and going, oh, why are my shoulders always so sore in down dog? I pressed in and created this action of lift from the palms to the hips. So let's find our downward dog again and take a few breaths. Just practicing letting the weight sink in and then pressing the ground away. The best way to find the action is just to try it. So dump into the shoulders and then press away from the ground and feel that stretch change. And when you do it mindfully like this, it is actually kind of therapeutic for the shoulders to feel that little stretch and that movement. But you don't want to live there with the weight dumping in. And let's bring knees to the earth. Take the weight off the shoulders and bring the forearms down, palms flip up, bring the weight off the wrists. Wiggle the hips and wiggle the fingers. And tabletop position, coming back up. If wrists are tired, you can make fists for wrists. Take a moment, relax the belly, lengthen out through the tailbone and the crown of the head. Take a breath. Let it out. Right arm reaches out. The left leg reaches back, balancing table. Find stillness here, eyes looking down. Maybe close your eyes, see if you're able to hold the steadiness here. When eyes close in a balance pose, things get interesting. Inhale, reach out a little more. Find length between the right fingers and the left toes. Curl around to a cat stretch. Knee and elbow come together. Then inhale, stretch out. We'll do two more. Find a nice reaching table. Exhale, curl and round. One more. Back to tabletop. Shift the weight in the hands and the hips. And then right hand presses in, left arm reaches out, right leg comes back. Reaching, balancing table, eyes down or closed. That right palm pressing in, shoulders engaged. Inhale, lengthen out, just 3 rounds. Exhale, curl and round, elbow and knee come in. Inhale, reach out. Exhale, curl and round. Inhale, reach out. And exhale, curl and round. Back to tabletop. Back to downward dog. Press the palms away, engage the shoulders. And inhale, bend the knees. Look forward. Exhale, step up. Find a fold. Half lift. Fold it in. Press down, reach up, stretch the arms. And hands to your sides, Tadasana pose. Step to the top of your mat. Notice you're lengthening here, tailbone pressing down. Hips are neutral. Ribs reaching away from the hips. Tall. Tall in your whole body. Inhale, reach. Exhale, fold in. Half lift. And step back, downward facing dog. Feel how the shoulders are here. Make sure that you're pressing into those palms. We'll take about 5 breaths here. Come to your knees anytime you'd like. Feel the magic of this position. The hips above the heart. This reversal of gravity. As you inhale, come forward, plank pose. Exhale, knees come down, then slowly lower your whole belly, your chest, everything to the earth. Lift up, cobra pose, and lower. Lift up, cobra pose, and lower. Go with the breath here, inhale, and exhale. Lift up, press back, downward facing dog. 5 breaths, feel the activation of those arms. Slow, easy breathing. Feel the steadiness come into the body as you lift the energy. Inhale, rock forward, plank pose. Knees come down, slowly lower the belly. Lift your heart, cobra. Let's pause our position. Continue to breathe. Shoulders reach back away from you. Child's pose, press back, arms can reach behind you, let the wrists rest. Soften. Turn to tabletop position. Let's bring a blanket underneath. Open up into our hips and legs a little bit more so that we can come into another balancing exercise. So knees press in, hip distance, tailbone presses down, crown of the head reaches up. And bring your hands to your hips here for a moment. Open up through the collarbones, open up through the elbows, the shoulder blades back and down. And take a moment here and dip and curl into that tailbone as we did in cat-cow or on the ground as we were standing and now as we're kneeling. I had to do a paper on the hips in yoga teacher training about the nutation and counter-nutation of the hips. And it was like reading a foreign language. I had no idea what they were talking about, but it's that closing and lowering of the bottom of the hips as the top of the hips come up and open, and vice versa. That's all it is. Mystery solved. Feet press in, bring your arms out to your sides, roll into the shoulders a few times. And we're going to come forward into a lunge here. So that's why I offered that blanket for that comfort. Hands back to the hips for balance. And shift the weight to the left knee, right knee comes forward. And then move forward and bring your hands to the earth, fingertips to the earth for a low stretching lunge. Left knee stays on the earth. If you find that you collapse here or you can't quite reach the ground, you can bring your hands to your knees and lunge forward this way. And then take a look at your ankle and knee and make sure that they're parallel to each other. You don't want the knee going too far forward here, unless your hips are really low, but in general, right there, and you can press the hands to the thighs or come to the fingertips. Take a breath. If you haven't already, press the top of the left foot to the earth. Eyes quiet and forward, shoulders down. And if you haven't already, come up to bring your hands to the thigh, lunge forward, lift up through the heart. If it's okay for you, reach up. Lift your heart, reach the arms away from the hips. Left hand to the earth, right arm reaches up, find a twist. Right hand comes next to the left hand, so both hands are inside of the right foot. Hug the right elbow and the right knee together, right shoulder and knee together. Pause here, the palms are pressing in, start to bend through the elbows, bring a little activation, and then tuck the left toes and lift up into the right knee. The lifted version of our lizard pose. Try to lengthen out from crown of the head to, from Try to find length in your neck. Eyes down. It's too intense. That left knee can come back to the earth. Take another breath. And left knee comes back to the earth. And open into that right hip, bringing the knee out and in a few times. Frame the foot. And then come back up, finding a tall, lunging pose. Toes are tucked in the left foot. And reach arms up here. Look up. Arms out to gratitude arms and twist open to the left. Try to keep the toes tucked. Feel that stretch, right foot pressing in. May the arms reach all the way out. Feel the twist, feel the strength. Inhale. Exhale, twist. And inhale back to center. Hands to your hips and come back to that kneeling pose. Tailbone tucks down or presses down. Crown of the head reaches up. And weight shifts to the right knee, stepping forward, left foot to the earth. Coming up into that, make sure that left knee is over the ankle and then press forward into your lunge, fingertips to the earth or hands to the thigh, whatever feels best to you. Sometimes we just collapse too much. I like to have blocks really to make the floor come up to me. I try not to teach with blocks because I know not everybody has them. And so we'll find variations with our body. Breathe here. Notice strength and notice where you can release tension. If you're not already here, bring your hands to your thigh. And then as you're ready, you can reach the arms up, looking up. Low lunge is deceptively hard. It looks easy because you're down on the ground and that right knee's down, but feel the strength as you open here. And right hand to the earth, left arm reaches up, open to your twist. And breathe joy through your collarbones. Where your thoughts go, your energy follows. So just cultivate gratitude and joy here in the morning. And let it stay with you all day long. Left hand to the earth. Tuck into those right toes and pause here. Feel the palms pressing in. That left knee left knee is pressing toward the left shoulder. Bend the elbows a little. The elbows are coming toward you so that you feel this activation into the shoulders and the core. And then the right knee lifts up. It is almost as though you are balancing your weight 25% on all 4 points that are on the earth, trying to balance yourself here, reaching back through the right toe so you're not dumping too far forward, feeling the stretch. Take another breath. Right knee to the earth. And let the left hip open and close a few times. Top of the right foot to the earth, frame the foot. And come up. Find a very high lunge, the hands pressing in. And tuck the right toes under. You're going to find that twist. Left foot is active, right foot is active. Arms to cactus, lift up through the chest. And we're twisting to the right, so we're twisting away from that front leg, opening out. Find your balance here. Thanks, wall. Arms can reach out. This is an active twist. You're pressing yourself forward, feeling that stretch. Inhale, back to center. And frame the foot, step back to a kneeling pose and come down child's pose. If you're feeling stuck in those hips, come on up for a dog pose and then down for a child's pose. Notice that heat that you released in your inner thighs, your groin, your hips. And start to come up. We're going to come to a seated practice now with some forward folds and hip work. So have some comforts under your sit bones, and we'll come to sit in bound angle pose to begin with. The closer you pull the heels into the groin, the deeper the stretches. But there's this magical things that happens to some people when their hips are tight that their knees just want to stay up here. And becomes this like kind of squeeze. You can bring the feet out a little further away and have maybe a little bit more of a relaxation there. But it is what it is. This is one of those poses where the hips don't lie. Hands can reach for the ankles or the sides of the feet and lift tall through the sides of the neck here. Take a breath. Flap into the knees a few times, just trying to get a little bit more open into the inner thighs, the inner hips. I'm going to slide back a little bit. And you might want to as well. I'm coming off of my mat completely because we're going to come into a few moves here where we're going from bound angle into wide-legged stretch, and I like the padding of the mat under my heels, so you might like that too. So I've just kind of moved behind my mat. Let's come to a bound angle pose, and this is one of those things where you can use your hands to help you reach back behind and help you to find that leverage, or you can make it a core game as well. And we're just going to do this. Come in and out a few times in a therapeutic way. And you'll notice maybe some clicking that happens as you come into bound angle and then wide-legged. Come out into wide-legged. And I want you to pay attention here to the bottom of the tailbone pressing away from you so that you can bring the top of the hips forward and open. So almost even pressing into the hands. Toes come up. And then hands are going to come to your thighs and roll the thighs open as you lift tall. Toes are pressing up. Hopefully feeling a nice stretch in the inner groin if you can reach even to the knees. And then moving side to side here. Inhale. Reach the arms up. And exhale, keep your hips square. Try to bring your left hand to right toes. Inhale, back to center. Hips stay square for now. Exhale, right toes to left, or right hand to left toes. Maybe not. Maybe you're right here. Go here. Find a little bit of space. Notice how you have to activate into the legs to hold yourself steady. And also notice the stuckedness that can happen when you have to keep your hips square. Come back to center. Reach up. Now, twist toward that right foot. Fold forward and down as you exhale. Come up and over. Twist toward the left foot and come down. Inhale back to center. Twist and lower. Slowing down. One more. Come back to center. And arms come down. Feet come back together, round ankle pose. Find a lift. Hands can reach to the ankles. Nice and tall. And press those knees away from each other. Maybe even shifting here side to side in the sit bones. That was so much fun. Let's do it again. You can have your hands supporting you behind you. If you'd like, it's a little bit of that core where you want to hold yourself nice and tall. Arms can come to your sides, palms pressing down, and then just move here gently. Maybe let's go a little slower than we did the first time through. Feet come together, round angle pose. Feet go wide, wide-legged pose. And this is one that you can do each day to really help with the opening of those hip joints. Let's come to our wide-legged stance here and make sure that you feel that tailbone pressing out away from you, pressing forward. Notice how that increases the stretch just by pressing forward. You're going for that opening here into the front of the hips. Lift up into your toes. Hands can come to your legs, and even though it's as though you're almost rolling the thighs open, lifting tall. Feel that stretch. Knees can bend a little if you need that softening. Breathe slowly. Start to press your chest toward the left toes. Right arm is going to flip. And you might even come down like I did a little into this angle where the right palm is flipping up and you're going to open into this twist. Maybe you'll reach the arm up. Breathe here. Press into your sit bones. See if you can start to reach left hand toward the right toes. This is not, it might be right here, and that's okay. This is one of those ones that looks different on everyone. Opening up through the chest and concentrating here on where you're feeling that stretch. Toes, feet active, everything open here. And then back to center. Legs press in, arms reach up. Twist slightly toward the right. Left arm comes down to the inside of the left leg. The palm faces up. And then right arm reaches up. This is an active pose again. That left arm is opening the left leg open. Is helping the left leg open. Right arm reaching. And then maybe right arm reaches toward the left toes. Back to center. Arms reach up. Inhale. Twist the torso toward the right. Exhale, fold in. Let's move. Inhale, coming through center. Twist toward the left. Exhale. We'll take one more each side. Notice any tightness or tension that you feel. And we're going to fall into this stretch in a moment. Inhaling, lift up. Twist toward the left and then lower. And this time we'll come up, inhale. Twist the torso toward the right and we'll fold in and hold. You can find the bottom of the foot. You can find the sides of the calf. Whatever it is that helps you to find a long spine and that stretching inner thigh. Eyes soften, breathe. Press into the legs. Reach up through the arms, come to center. Twist toward the left and lower in. Forward folds are one of those amazing places where no matter how long you're in them, you can always find another level of release. Activate the legs down toward the earth, reach the arms up, and slowly fold forward. To keep it a little more active and interesting, the arms can stay reaching forward, or you can rest them down to the earth. Try to stay active here though. This is one of those places where we don't realize how much change we have to make until we start to make the change. Slowly start to walk the hands in. Ingo pose. Feel that release through the hips. If knees are under the rib cage, if you can do this and you stay fairly flat, it's nice to feel that forward fold. If your hips are up here, you might feel very stuck in a forward fold, so you might just want to stay lifted, but feel free, inhale as you lengthen. And as it's comfortable, fold forward. You can stay with the hands on the ankles, or reach them forward. Slowly lift back up. Knees come together. Then we'll come down to lay on our backs. You can put your socks or sweatshirt on. At this point, knees come to hug in. And feet come down to the earth. Knees stay bent. We spend a lot of time literally opening our hips. Let's let them close as we stretch a little. Right knee will come to cross left knee. Arms come out in a T shape. And just let that knees fall over to the right, face left. Slow inhale. And exhale. Back to center. Unwrap the knees and then left knee over right. And let the knees fall to the left, face right. In 1 hour, you've done core work, balance work, strengthening work, breath work. You've changed your DNA, you've improved your posture, you've improved your mood and your brain function. You've become a little bit younger and you'll stand a little bit taller. Come back to center. We'll stretch out for Shavasana as I continue to tell you everything else that you did in this hour. You connected to community, which is almost impossible to do right now. You improved your digestion, your cardiovascular system, and right now you're resting your whole body. Cover up if you feel chilled at all. You want to feel very comfortable here, allowing the body to rest. The heart rate slowing, the respirations slowing, the muscles softening. Feel absolute joy here in this Saturday morning where you've embraced community and self-care and love. What a brilliant way to start your day. Allow everything to soften here for a moment or two of peace and quiet. Continue to deepen your breath. And let yourself smile here. They've done studies where if you fake a smile, your brain eventually thinks you're actually happy. And then you become happy. And just connect to the joy and the peace that you created today through your practice. Feel that joy and peace throughout your day. Start to stretch into your arms and legs. Bend your knees, turn to your right side. And then come on up to a comfortable seated position, hands at your heart, and a gesture of gratitude. Gratitude for this time that we had to move and improve, and gratitude for this lovely way to still stay connected and be able to see each other's smiling faces. Let's unclasp with the sound of 3 ohms. Inhale. Thank you for taking the time to take care of yourselves today. Namaste.